Welcome to Unscrupled, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In this episode, there's way too many white people to be in Southern California. Really, how did this even happen? Welcome to Unscrupled. Girlfriend is in here and is commenting.
I've noticed that. So, who the fuck are you?
I am Bitches, and who are you?
I'm Money, and have I done something to you? Have I sinned you in a past life? Did I, steal a significant other from you? I don't understand what I did to deserve this. Oh my god.
Born. No, you absolutely deserve this, and someday you'll thank me, but not today, and probably not for the next 11 episodes.
I had to take a break about 3 times during this because...
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I should not have made you do the first 2 episodes together.
No, you shouldn't, but...
I'm sorry.
To be fair, I didn't remember... I have actually seen them before. I didn't remember how bad they were because I was such a stoner then.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it's
impressive.
with all that pot, I still, I finished these 2 episodes, and I'm like, nope, and threw it away. So now I do it stone cold sober, and holy cow.
Yeah, okay, so the first season of any show is never its best, and the first episodes of any show are always a lot of setup, and I'm just going to promise you it gets better. But yeah, it's a lot of camp. It's so campy. And it's not supposed to be realistic. It's teenage fantasy. And there will be some hunky guys and some beautiful girls and some absolute nerds, and just strap in, okay?
All right. I guess there's nothing we can do. The only way out of this is through it, I take it. So
yeah. No one is going to let you off this hook. I'm sorry.
All right.
We've all waited too long to find someone who hasn't seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You're the last one.
Does that mean I'm the Slayer or I'm the chosen one?
No.
Fuck.
No. It means there's something else, but I will, but not till season 5. You're definitely something, but not till season 5.
Oh, god damn it. Should we get started? Because, I can't... I think we need to take this play-by-play, because I don't think I can take the whole of this. There's just...
Okay. We begin our episode with, some rando boy and some rando girl breaking into the high school.
I actually liked this. I
mean,
it was stupid. Why the fuck are you breaking in? And he breaks a window and nobody mentions it again. A lot of things happen and there don't seem to be any long-term ramifications, which I'm assuming is a motif here.
It could be considered a trope for some of the show, yes. And they do cover that at the end of these 2 episodes.
Okay. So we have this woman who's clearly not in high school, and this boy who clearly could be in high school, but only because he's super stupid and 28 and still hasn't graduated.
Yeah, he's in his 5th year of varsity football.
And he's being kind of rapey, and she's clearly not okay with this, and it looks like it's just a coy act, and her face turns into an angry Klingon who's been hit by an 18-wheeler, and she bites his neck and kills him, which I kind of liked the twist. I mean, I've seen a lot of Joss Whedon's work, and having the tables turned from a skinny white bitch is kind of a thing he likes.
Oh, yeah. He absolutely likes women surprising you by not being what TV has told you they're supposed to be in this situation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that is our cold open. So that is setting the tone, And
Yeah.
the tone I got is there's going to be no special effects budget. And
Not the first season. It does get better.
okay. I feel like the gay kid in my freshman year of high school, and I'm watching the It Gets Better. It's like, oh, I have to wait for 7 years before my life will start.
Man.
This was really bad, guys. Okay.
Well, they're the ones that made us do this. I wanted to do one episode for the whole first season and just move on, rip that Band-Aid right off, and yeah, that there was overwhelming clamor for us to essentially hate cast the entire first season, which, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah,
People like to watch money suffer, and I really can't fault them for that because, you deserve it.
I swear to God, I never slept with your girlfriend. I don't even do women.
It doesn't matter. It's original sin. That's what you're paying for right now. You're paying for original sin.
Okay, so.
Yep. Anyway, so from that cold opening with just rando characters, we go to Buffy, and she's having a nightmare, and she's having a nightmare of that thing that we just saw, which is legit. Okay. And it's her first day at a new high school, and she's nervous.
Oh, can we pause for a second?
Sure.
One, I'm having flashbacks of every. This is just so 90s because Scream, Can't Hardly Wait, 10 Things I Hate About You, Clueless. Just I forgot how prevalent the white people in high school bullshit was during that decade.
Not just the white people in high school bullshit, but also I'm the new kid at school.
Yeah, and here's a question: Is the movie canon? Did that happen, and now this is her in a new spot? Because if I remember correctly, the movie happened in kind of actual L.A., not Rancho Cucamonga. And
that's exactly what happened. They're acting like the movie totally happened, and but a little bit different. Not the actual, because Joss Wheadon did write the movie.
Really?
Buffy. Yeah, Joss wrote that.
How old is the man?
A million. Anyway, but he decided to do it in a different way. And there was a pilot for Buffy that never actually aired that kind of, explains this for the people who didn't see the movie. But, of course, Fox being Fox decided not to air that and just leap right into this and, allude to all these things that happen. And Joss made it work because he's Joss. And, he eventually gets used to them fucking him like that. But, and this time it was still a surprise, but he still managed. But, so he just went with the idea that, the movie happened and she got expelled from that school. And they skipped the whole romance part with her and whoever that actor was. I'm old, but I'm not that old. They skipped all the finer parts of the movie and kept the idea that she burned down the gym and she got expelled and they had to leave town.
Okay, so and her dad is nowhere to be found, but her mom is got that 90s 50-something lady blonde thing.
I think she's a 40-something lady, but yeah, mom's cool. I like mom.
Okay,
she only wants the best for her little girl.
So Buffy is starting a new day at school.
Yeah.
And so I forget what happened because I was just so shocked that it was, she's trying to be smarmy, but it comes off very Powerpuff Girls humor.
Okay.
There's a lot of, it doesn't feel organic. They're just kind of speaking these things and it's almost like a stand-up act. Am I making any sense?
No, you are, and that's exactly right. Remember, like I said, this is the first episode, and all of these actors at the time were pretty much unknowns. This was their first speaking gig. None of them actually had hit their stride at all. None of them knew how to act in any way. We can go through as the characters as she meets them. I mean, like, you first get Xander, and
Which one's
he's
Xander?
great. Xander's the boy with the dark hair who's, like, insta in love with her.
Okay, I think I called him mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise? Why
Yes.
mayonnaise?
Because they're all so fucking white. They all have white names. Buffy was the only one I could put a name to. So
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So Xander is officially mayonnaise.
in your head.
Yes.
Okay. Well, unlike in many other shows, everybody uses everybody else's names all the time, so they really stick eventually.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I got him confused with Angel, and I know I was supposed to remember that name. And
yeah.
so, because clearly there's going to be a spin-off of this other white dude that's here who looks exactly like Xander with a haircut. So
No, they don't look alike at all. What are you talking about? Angel is practically Cro-Magnon, and Xander is a bumbling, nerdy oaf who's, kind of looks 28 because they all do. But yeah, I don't see how you get Angel and Xander looking alike at all. And they dress really differently, and like their body language is super different.
I just,
he
looked like his older brother, and
okay.
Yeah, whatever. So, so she does her first day at school, and I think the first person she meets is Aquafina.
Aquafina? Are you talking about Cordelia?
Yes, Cordelia. That's her name.
She's the first person who actually speaks to her in a class. She runs into Xander first, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But yeah, so she does. She meets Cordelia, and Cordelia shares her book with her and is very nice. What did you think of Cordelia?
I had such a hard time getting a read on this woman because I get what she's supposed to be. Like, she kind of zeroes in on Buffy as like, oh, here's part of the fashion club, and I can recruit someone. And she kind of tips her hand when she calls Ricotta a loser.
Ricotta?
Yes.
Are you talking about Willow?
Yes.
Oh, God. Are they all just names for white food?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay.
Except Cordelia is clear because she's just, I don't know.
So shallow.
She has no substance at all. So
yeah,
at least ricotta tastes good.
Yeah. Okay, these are accurate so far. Okay. Yeah. Very
but then she has these radical shifts in personality, and I mean, I guess they're all in the same archetype, but they're just so very different ways of behave. Just they seem like really weird mood swings throughout these two episodes.
Well, okay. How many of us have known the moneyed, privileged white girl who was only nice in any way to people who she considered for real people in her head because she's a little bit of a sociopath because that's how she was raised? And anyone else who isn't in her social class and beauty class, therefore, doesn't really, they're not real people. They're like animals for her to abuse. We know these people. We went to school with some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, she's that guy.
I found it really hard to get a read on her, and I kind of felt for the actress because she's like, where am I in this?
She's around, so there will be more of her. And the actress, she has the best worst name. The actress is named Charisma Carpenter.
Oh my God! You're either a drag queen or a hooker. I'm not sure which.
Exactly. I feel for this woman because I have a bad name too. And yeah, the rumor is that her mom named her after the word she saw on the side of her perfume bottle. And
Enorme.
Yes.
30 Rock reference. Yes. Sorry.
You already made a Daria reference, so we're there now.
Okay.
But yeah, poor Charisma, man. So she had a lot to live up to, and I feel like she did okay. But yeah, so there will be more of her. What did you think moving forward of the other folks that we're meeting?
The other folks that were okay. So we've talked about mayonnaise and we've talked about ricotta.
You didn't actually talk about Willow at all. You just kind of said.
Oh well,
yeah.
We met her, and it's a little hard for me to separate her because I shamefully watched during one of my unemployment bouts about 6 seasons of How I Met Your Mother because I found a torrent.
Oh,
So
okay,
I can really see her playing against the type she's built here, and I knew she was famous for this show, but I didn't realize how, I don't know, like how Allison Hannigan's acting, at least here, did not shine through, and I'm like, oh, you poor thing, you're trying so hard to break out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like I said, this is the first thing almost any of them did. They were unknowns before this, so
But
when you get your first pilot, you kind of suck.
She's just a cardboard cutout. I mean, it's they give her like this pseudo grunge kind of flannel and long sleeves that's supposed to signify unhip, which
Well, yeah, her mom dressed her. Like. Cordelia's not kidding when she says, "Oh, I'm so happy you found the softer side of Sears." That's totally department store jumper dress that your mom gets you for your first day freshman year. It's hideous.
Is she a freshman?
She's either a freshman or a sophomore.
Yeah, I found it hard to get a read on her at all. Like she seemed to just be there as a meat bag to be part of the be someone to comment on what was happening. So I didn't really have a whole lot of I didn't pick up a whole lot from her.
She's slightly nerdy girl number 2.
Yeah.
Okay. That works out. Let's see. Who else? Okay, then I think we meet the librarian, Giles. What's your secret name for him?
Salad cream.
Salad cream? Not even salad dressing?
He's British. This salad cream is a thing. So.
Oh, I didn't even know.
It's like dressing without spices.
Oh wow!
That is how
I've heard
bland.
British food was bad, but wow.
This show is legally bland. So.
No. Okie dokie.
Yeah. So yes, It was really heavy-handed where he slams that giant ass book down, and I'm like, you cut a hole in here. There's going to be something. There's going to be some heroin or gun. Or something in this stupid-ass book. That is where I kept my weed in high school, is a giant book. I think it was Infinite Jest wasn't out. What was it? Paradise Lost was the fake book I had. So.
That was full of weed?
Yes.
How long did it take you to hollow that out?
I bought it that way.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, they had, there was a head shop called Planet K that had all sorts of cool stuff. It was like the bench shop in Willimantic, only classy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Okay. Okay, so we've met Giles, and he's obviously very subtle and good at dealing with teenage girls and the intricacies therein, right?
Uh-huh.
So he slams the book down, Buffy flips shit and runs the hell away because that, she just wants to be a normal girl, man. She wants to have a regular life and not be put in mortal danger all the time and have to leave school and all her friends and everything she's ever known. So she's not down. She runs away and then, goes and hangs out in the quad like you do. I don't think they have one class this entire day.
I forgot to mention I do have a specific name for this teacher, and it's not Alice and Janney. I think he's the principal.
Okay, yeah, the principal dude.
Yeah, because he tries. I don't know which came first, this or 10 Things I Hate About You, but that first meeting with the sassy Alice and Janney telling.
Oh God, I love that character.
That movie is worth your time just for that fucking scene, but that's clearly the kind of thing that he's going for, like not taking any of your shit, but he's way too Wonder Bread to handle it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you feel about him being like, oh, it's a clean slate, and then him actually reading the report and be like, but not that clean. We're gonna be watching you. Just watching you.
That's feel like we're gonna do. I feel like the writer was like, okay, there's been talking and there's been talking and there's been talking. He needs to actually do something, because I found it really awkward for him to be trying to tape it back together. And I'm like, why are you zooming in there? Who is your cinematographer, and why are they still working? So, I don't know. It was really fucking distracting the way they did that.
I think it was supposed to take you out of it for a minute and just be like, yeah, she can't run from her past. Um, she is so fucked. But yeah. Okay, so we go forward a bit, and they find out that there's a dead boy in a locker, and Buffy, again, gets all weird and runs back to the library to confront Giles.
And nobody reacts. Nobody has any lasting impact of any of these events. And if I remember correctly, the school was like really freaked out, and there were people kind of, wrapping their shawls around themselves or cuddling each other, and like this was a deal. And Scream did it, but it's just like, oh, there's a dead dude.
Yeah.
The only people who react are the people who find the damn body.
Yeah. And okay, so when Buffy and Giles are talking after she, finds out about the dead dude and goes and looks and see that it was definitely a vampire that killed him, she goes and Giles explains to her that stuff in this town has been happening like that more and more for years. It has been very ramping up. So I kind of think that this is like, because this has been so commonplace, people are just kind of bored by it now. Not bored exactly, but in the same way that, like, we have a new shooting every other week now. A horrifying shooting. And it's to the point where within a month or two, we're okay again. And especially if it isn't like our community, then like there have been shootings that I have no idea about because I can't make myself listen to the news anymore because I'm just sad all the time. That, people are like, hey, what about Watercrest High? And I'm like, what?
Watercrest High, I think that's what we're calling this. I was going to go, that's Watercrest High is perfect. You've renamed it for me.
This is the every few weeks massacre at Watercrest High, and yeah, they're just so used to it happening that unless it affects them personally, unless they knew the dude, they're just like, well, I guess I'll go about my day because it wasn't me or anybody I care about this time.
The high school didn't seem that big, though.
It's pretty big. I mean, the town is based on Santa Barbara, which is, vaguely like the place I grew up, which was Camarillo, and we had a couple thousand students at our high school. It was one of many high schools in the area.
We only had between 300 and 400 at my school, and that was 7th through 12th grade. So
yeah, so schools in Southern California are big, and the problem is like you'll have 1,000 incoming freshmen, but you'll have 500 graduating seniors, and one asks oneself what happened to the rest of the kids. And the answer is pretty sad. But yeah, schools, especially high schools in Southern California, are big, and they're never that pretty. They usually kind of resemble prisons. They're always one story. The quad is usually, covered in old ketchup packets and gum. There's a lot of seagulls all the time, inexplicably. But none of that is here because this is TV high school, and so the high school gets to actually be pretty and have multiple levels. Although you grew up in the southern land of the United States. There's no like indoor hallways. That's not a thing at California schools, and I like that they actually incorporate a lot of outdoor hallways in this.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's my take on California schools, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. So I guess, the salad cream, or should I call him crumpet? I think that might even be better.
Crumpet, it rolls off the tongue a lot easier.
Okay, so
Giles.
Crumpet is saying, well, you need to embrace your destiny. And of course she has the refusal of the call, even though she's already done this, so... And she has kind of a smarmy attitude about this.
I didn't think it was smarmy at all. I think she was entirely justified because think about it. She's a 16-year-old girl. She is the most selfish creature on the face of the planet. There's nothing in the world more selfish than a teenage girl. And she wants what she wants. And what she wants is to, like, have a life that doesn't involve being in mortal danger all the time. I absolutely see where she's coming, and she's having her little hissy fit. It's not fair. I don't want to be the chosen one. Can we not, like, do this thing where I'm going to die hideously? Can we not? Please? And he's like, no, it's your destiny. And she's like, fuck your destiny.
But she's not allowed to say the F word, and I disagree that a 16-year-old girl is the most selfish thing on earth, because you've obviously never met a horny bottom in Folsom. So.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree until I have a more robust experience with this. I don't know. So when's Folsom again? Am I coming up for this?
I think it's next month, actually. It's Mocha's birthday. You probably should. So.
Okay. I know Girlfriend was talking about him maybe, but we might be double booked that weekend. So we'll talk offline about this. Anyway. So yeah, okay. So then we've covered all of the okay, this is the high school stuff. So now we have to go to the after party.
Oh yes. Oh God. Did you? Okay. How do I put this? Yeah, I've been to alternative rock and roll clubs as a teenager. They do not look like empty Hollywood studio lots. It's a fucking warehouse.
Yeah.
It's clearly they didn't have the money to actually build a set. So why is there an iron fucking roof? Why are there balconies here? Why are there catwalks? Am I supposed to buy that this is where the kids hang out? Like it was too bright. There was no speaker system.
What'd you think of the band?
I didn't think there was a bar, even though there was a sign outside that said under 21. And I think I saw it right, and it said under 21 can't serve drinks, which is weird. So
I didn't read the sign, and all the many times I've seen this, I have never read that sign. But
it's just, I was like, oh, why am I? There's plywood everywhere, and the bathroom is an actual hallway. It's clearly in an entirely different set. I was just like, oh my God, where are the boom mics? Like, I can see the seams, you know? I can see the seams, and they're not sewn together. They're hot glued, and it's not okay.
It's two-way tape. Yeah, it's one of those suspend your disbelief, because there was no budget, because this was a mid-season replacement when Savannah got canceled. Do you remember that show?
I've never even heard of it. It sounds even whiter, which I didn't think was possible.
It was totally whiter. They had like one black character. It was so whiter. But yeah, so yeah, it had zero budget. It had less than no budget.
I noticed that from the fight scenes. So we forgot to bring in our I think my probably favorite character of this pair of episodes, and I'm calling him Meth because of his role on 6 Feet Under.
Oh yeah, that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I noticed his name it's Eric Balfour as a guest star. So I'm like, wow, dude, you were famous back then. Like, unfortunately, your career kind of took a giant fucking nosedive. But yeah, he was pretty ubiquitous for a while.
Yeah. Well, he was cute but kind of dangerous, and kind of Latino but kind of not. And, you know, he could play a gang member or a troubled youth.
And I was all about the continuity with 6 Feet Under. Like, he was going to have this adventure and never be seen, and like maybe like not get his contract renewed and go to Los Angeles and meet Claire. But no.
You really want there to be just one world where all the TV characters live and interact.
I like playing that game, but
okay,
it couldn't happen here because he died.
You are going to have so many people to play that game with, you don't even know.
Jesus Christ. So, yeah, so we have Meth, Mayonnaise, Ricotta, and Buffy are all now friends.
Ish.
They go to the club, and I think, is this where Buffy whips out her footlocker full of vampire stuff?
No, that happens next episode.
Okay. But she does wear a cross, which I saw. So are we going to get? One of the things I'm fascinated with is like pulling together across different ideas, the different things that make it into canon in different iterations. So there's like zombies. Are they undead or are they not dead? Like, are they killed by fire? Are they killed by blows to the head? Can you take them out by the heart?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just rabies? Are they fast? Are they slow? Things like that.
Yeah.
So I had a really hard time getting a handle on what's a vampire in this world. Clearly there's the Jesus matters because the crosses are there. I'm assuming stakes to the heart work, but they seem to be made of pudding because it doesn't take very much to make them go in.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that. It's like, why don't vampires have rib cages? Like seriously, it should be a lot harder to stake them.
Especially when she's just making stakes out of random rotting wood that will probably break if you try to, scratch your balls with it. So
yeah, that may or may not be a thing that keeps happening. Pretty much anything that's wood can be a stake.
And he calls it a stake. Why didn't he call it a stick? I don't know.
Okay, so Xander is an uber nerd. I mean, I don't feel like I'm giving anything away with that. He has probably seen every vampire movie there ever was because he has a lot of time to watch TV because he has no social life. So he'd know a steak when he saw one, It's sharpened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I used to make those just because, like, in summer camp when I got bored, I'd just take out my pocket knife and sharpen wood because I didn't really have the patience or the creativity to make anything else. So I had a bunch of steaks. But I didn't do anything with them. But, okay, I guess so. So he recognized it as a steak, and she carries one with her because she's a little paranoid. Now, her mom does not know that she's a vampire hunter, right?
Right. Mom has no idea that she's the chosen one.
Seems like something you should tell her. Seems like it's going to come up.
But what if that puts her in danger? Or what if Buffy thinks that she can make this all go away? What if,
There's a pile of dead bodies at the end of this episode. They didn't seem to be informed beforehand, so it doesn't feel like ignorance is any shield here, but whatever.
But, okay, think about it then from a mom perspective. If you know your child is the chosen one, isn't that going to flip you out? Isn't that just going to make you worry and worry and worry?
Probably, but...
Yeah. Whereas if you just think your child is a willful teenage girl,
is gone all hours of the night, comes back covered in blood, and there's people dying at our high school constantly. Yeah, I'm gonna be fine with that. Take your cell phone, honey.
Nope. The books all said that this would be hard, and so I'm gonna do it. Buffy, you're grounded. Now, if you want to come down to dinner, it's mac and cheese tonight. Oh God, I love
cheddar
Buffy's
mac and
so
cheese,
much.
Isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. She got it out of Family Circle.
Christ, all right. So they're at the club, and I think do the vampires break in here? The first.
Okay, so the first night at the club, no, but she's kind of like skulking around, kind of like trying to see what this place is and maybe like figure out who and what she is in this community. And she talks to Willow for a while, and then she goes away, and then she finds Giles there because he's, being all creepy, and, I'm the school librarian hanging out with all the teenagers. And so she's talking to him, and he's like, no, you have to reach out with your feelings and find the vampires and all this, Zen crap. And she's like, there's one. And how does she recognize the vampire?
Because of his fashion choices, which are much more current than anything else anyone is wearing in that bar right now.
Current for now, but for the 90s, that was not okay. That was seriously some 80s bullshit. Like, he was Magnum P.I. all over that place. But
he had color. So.
He did have color, but the 90s, we only had muted colors. We had, like, flannel shirts covered in mud.
Elaine from Seinfeld just ruined everything, didn't she?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
I actually haven't seen Seinfeld, so I don't know to what you're referring.
It was a conscious choice to dress her only in like browns and muted greens, and it kind of set the tone for New York being kind of like not very bold color choices, and that kind of filtered out everywhere. At least that's my understanding of it.
Wow, Seinfeld really does ruin everything.
They really do. So, all right, so they lure. He doesn't lure a girl out, right?
Okay, when Willow and Buffy were talking, Buffy's like, life's short, seize the day. And Willow really takes it to heart, and she's like, I want to talk to a boy. And so
Willow wants to get laid.
Boy. Well, she wants to, no, Willow doesn't want to get laid. She wants to, have a first kiss ever.
Okay, that makes a little more sense, because I got such a strong Dyke vibe off of her that, I don't know. I'm not putting that to rest yet. I think she might be gay.
Okay. That's a valid theory, and we'll just... Yeah, okay. Wait, see, I didn't get any of that from this first episode, though. I got her being awkward. What is it about her that makes you think that?
I don't know. It just seems like it's not her. It's where I think the writer's imagination can be.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just hoping, because I actually do like Allison Hannigan. And I'm kind of... The only other two roles I've seen her in, she's been kind of hypersexualized and even strangely dominant. So seeing her reversed here, maybe I'm just flipping it in my head. So.
Okay. That's totally valid. All right. So, 80s Vamp leads Willow out, and they're going to go get ice cream, which is so sweet. Except that he doesn't lead her to ice cream. He leads her on a quote-unquote shortcut through the cemetery.
Which is not in the right direction at all.
No, it's not. And she knows this, but she's going with it, even though she's protesting, but she's still going because it's the first, attractive male who's ever, paid any attention to her whatsoever. I think we've all had that. We've all had that date.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have.
I prefer not to speak any further of this matter.
Nope, we are not going to talk about that at all anymore. I just wanted to bring us all together in this shared experience. Anyway, so and she's getting wigged out, and then, he pulls her into a crypt and, goes all creepy face on her. And about that time, Buffy realizes that something is horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah, she does, and she follows Willow out, and I forget how meth and mayonnaise make it out with her.
Okay, so meth and mayonnaise. God damn it. Okay, so Xander overheard her having that big confrontation with Giles in the library. So he knows she's a vampire slayer, and he thinks everything's kind of cuckoo right now, so he's going to confront her because she's a hottie and be like, I know this thing about you. And she's like, no, this is fucking serious. Don't you dare. The guy you refer to as Meth is actually named Jesse, and he gets pulled off to the side by the girl vampire from the first part of the show, whose name we find out, whose name is Darla, not Saltine. And
I feel like I would have remembered Darla.
Her name is Darla. I think we find that out in the next episode, but
because I actually do know everyone's names. It's just Darla's the one I don't. So
okay, but yeah, so Darla has been, kind of going to that crypt with Jesse as well, and she stops for a light snack along the way. Darla shows up with Jesse just as things are getting real for Willow and 80s Vampire, and just as Buffy is flipping shit because she realized that, Willow wandered off with a vampire. And Xander comes along for the ride because he's too stupid to realize he's in over his head.
Yeah, he's got this brave thing on, but he doesn't really seem to show any emotion or feel scared or really show anything. So
he doesn't believe in it yet,
So
it's just talk.
Right. There's this fight in the mausoleum. Why Rancho Cucamonga has a mausoleum in their graveyard.
You just love saying Rancho Cucamonga, don't you?
It's a thing because, it's like, you see how someone looks and they're like, do I look like I'm ready to go out? And it's like, maybe San Bernardino. And Rancho Cucamonga is like, no, you're ready for that one. You're not even ready for San Bernardino. So
You're not even cool enough to go to San Bernardino. You have to go to Rancho Cucamonga, to a coffee shop
and it's
where there's a poetry reading. Oh, God. Okay. So, yeah, there's a fight, and let's see, 80s vampire gets dusted. And...
Oh, that's right. She does kill one. But this fucking fight scene, it's like it's not choreographed at all. It's like Whedon hadn't even learned that a fight on camera is a dance. And it's like, it's throw one blow, zoom out, see them react to the pain, and then the other one moves, and it's just...
Okay, to be fair, Joss did not direct this. He just wrote it.
Okay, whatever. It's about as exciting as a really intense game of checkers.
Yeah.
It's like someone will get hit, and then they'll get thrown back, and then there's always this look up and gasp, and it's
like, you're really strong. Yeah, there's a lot of you're really strong looks.
Yeah, they stop to talk a lot.
Yeah, in the beginning there were a lot of, and now I get to say my witty thing before we do the next thing. And yeah, her quips do get better. I will say that. Quips get better. And yeah, I'm just, at several points during us watching this first season, I'm just going to ask you, what does Dan Savage tell us?
Don't rape people? I don't know. What does he tell us?
He tells us it gets better.
Okay.
God damn you. Don't rape people. For fuck's sake. Okay, so, Willow and Xander manage to escape. Jesse gets pulled off somehow in the running through stuff and does not escape.
And Willow's just like on the ground outside for some reason, right?
She trips and falls at some point, but they do manage to scurry off like the little bunnies they are. But then shit gets real for Buffy. Darla does run away, but then someone appears. A new player almost. We've seen flashes of him, but now we see a great big giant motherfucker of a vampire who is already in vamp face. He doesn't even change. He's already all bumpy.
Yeah.
And he just fucking appears and just absolutely whoops her ass. And Darla's like, no, there was a girl. She's strong. He's like, why aren't you getting people for like our old vampire dude to eat?
Oh yeah. So we're talking about, I forget what I didn't really have a name for him. He was just super, he seemed to have thicker makeup than everyone else.
Yeah, he doesn't have a name. He's just called the Master, and the thicker.
Are we talking the Master, or are we talking about the henchman who beat up Buffy?
Oh, okay. The Master is the Master, and the henchman who beats the crap out of Buffy. Oh God, he's got some stupid thug name. What's his name? I forget. But yeah, he's henchman. He's big henchman.
I'm gonna call him
Luke. His name is Luke.
Luke.
Yep.
Really? It's not Todd.
Yeah, he's not named Todd. He's named Luke. But he could be a Todd. He does look like a big Todd. But yeah, he's big and he's dumb, but he's big. So yeah, he gets to be hardcore
he beats the crap out of Buffy and he leaves her there. But there is this scene with the Master, and I could not tell what was going on here because like Luke is in makeup, right? And then they have the pool. And then there's like a CGI elevator where the Master comes out and he's dressed like, I don't know, an extra on...
The Matrix.
I was going to say Rome, but...
he does look like a priestly class kind of guy from Rome.
Yeah, and it was terrible. I didn't really get... He seems to speak in a much more contemporary cadence than everyone else in the room. And there were also some extras who were not in makeup, so I couldn't tell if they were supposed to be vampires out of face or if they were just random assholes or if who had been captured to be eaten, or if they were just crew members who didn't get out of the fucking shot, because this show doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Well, okay. So, yeah. So the master is rising, but somehow he's stuck in his little, like, in his den. Like, he's stuck in that, like, area of the cave or whatever that they're in.
Uh-huh.
And he can't leave. And he hates that. And apparently, there's a way he can leave. And that leads us to our second episode, guys.
I want to step back here because I have some questions about how the mechanics of vampirism works. So
Okay.
we have... So there's a type of, blood master like Fever Dream where there is...
I haven't read Fever Dream yet, so don't spoil me.
Okay, but there is a master of the vampires, right?
Uh-huh.
So somehow you become a boss and they have to do what you say. It seems later that there's some kind of hypnosis power that vampires have over humans, and that kind of happens with Jesse and Cordelia, or with Meth and Aquafina, which is, I think, a better pairing. So.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm a little confused as to whether there is free will among the vampires. I don't think I'm going to have an answer for that anytime soon.
Okay.
But there's also, like, he says he needs souls, and he kind of does this thing with Luke where he puts the blood on his face, and he's like, any soul you take is going to be mine. But, like, is it blood or is it souls? I don't know. Like, does the soul exist? I'm trying to figure out how, like, it's not giving me a whole lot of answers. I'm hoping there's going to be some solid canon to go on later. So, and I know you can't answer pretty much any of that.
Just remember, it's the first couple episodes. They haven't figured out their own lore yet. So some of the stuff we'll say and some of the stuff will just kind of not be a thing.
Okay, so there's not some vampire lore I needed to dig into?
Yeah, no. They're still figuring out what the rules of this universe are.
Okay, yeah, because zombie films usually stick to one particular way. There's some subtle variations, like sometimes they're rabid, they're not undead, and sometimes they're fast and slow. And The Walking Dead does a thing where no matter how you go down, you wake up as a zombie. But I wasn't sure. I'm just not that familiar with how vampires work. And I think there was it's not just having your blood sucked. You also have to, like, have this weird semi-sexual thing going on with a vampire in order to turn.
They actually do cover that in these episodes. The sexual thing isn't necessary, but they have to suck your blood and then you have to drink their blood in order to rise again as vampire.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So that was the first episode where we meet all of our characters, and you have given them all your names, and I appreciate that as someone who gives everyone stupid names in every show I see. I now understand your frustration with me since I know these characters all so well, and yeah, I get why you've made so much fun of me for not being able to remember these stupid people's names.
They're not.
It's all clear to me now.
They're just not interesting. And okay.
Welcome to my hell.
I'm sorry, listeners, if you hate me for not liking this show, but you all, like, all of the patrons said that this was, it was really bad, and you wanted to hear my vitriol, so here it is. It's
in all its glory.
it's the blandest. It's all of the ingredients. It's the meth and the Aquafina and the mayonnaise and the ricotta on a piece of white bread.
Not even toasted.
Nope, just cold.
Nope. No color at all. Out of the fridge. Bread out of the fridge is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's a shocking lack of worry about poor meth.
Yeah. Okay. Well, once they figure out that he's still missing, that's when Buffy does go into I'm going to war mode, right? That's when she, like, goes to Giles and be like, they took one of us. They took one of these people I just met, and it's not okay. And that's when Giles, reveals to Xander and Willow that, vampires are real, and so are werewolves and demons, and slayers are this thing you've never heard of. There's no legends about slayers. They're just this thing that's always been that we don't talk about, except for the Watchers who do apparently talk about it.
The Watchers?
But only to each other. Okay, so Giles is a Watcher.
Okay.
And a Watcher's job
pornographic.
is to... Well, yeah, it kind of does. But his job is to train Buffy and advise Buffy and do research for Buffy. And it's an ancient order that... And they do cover all of this, but it's kind of buried a little bit. But yeah, it's an ancient order of learned scholars from England that does this thing. They keep the lore of the Slayers and, help them out in their nerdy ways. So Giles reveals all to Willow and Xander. Not really, because I guess they know too much at this point to not be read in, but, and Buffy's upset because this dude she just met got taken, and she's trying to figure out how she got beat by that rando dude who just appeared. What did you think of all this?
It's like there was the flashback in black and white where he grabs her, and that's where they figure out that he came from inside the call is coming from inside the house. They came from inside
you were going there.
The mausoleum, and I'm like, well, duh, they're vampires. The graveyard is a point of origin. They were taking you back that way. I figured Mayonnaise would have figured it out. I mean, he seems kind of genre savvy.
I think he was too busy shitting himself at that point. Because Xander...
No, I mean, in the library. Why is it Buffy who figures it out? It's Xander should have... I don't know. He seemed kind of on the ball there.
Oh, by the time Luke appeared behind Buffy, Xander had already beat feet with Willow.
Yeah, but he would have... I feel like he would know that the point of origin is the graveyard somewhere. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. And so they decide that they're going to go into the tunnels to try and save their friend Meth.
Mm-hmm.
And Xander decides to come along, which is extremely poor idea. But Buffy's outfitted with her Jesus stuff, so...
Well, she goes back home to pick up some supplies, and that's when she has her confrontation with Mom, who's like, you didn't come home last night, and I gotta give you some tough love, little girl. You're grounded. Buffy is not having that. She plays nice for Mom, but then she's immediately down the trellis. And who puts a trellis right under a teenage girl's bedroom?
I don't know. My mom had one of those fire escape ladders you could throw out the window. So
yeah.
That's how my sisters got out, and me. Unfortunately, we lived. You've never been to my parents' house, but it's at least a quarter-mile driveway because it's out in the sticks. So to get picked up by your friends, you had to hike out there without a fucking flashlight and get all the way out to the street so that they couldn't tell that there was a car coming to get you. So.
And you didn't get eaten by coyotes or rattlesnakes or rabid rednecks or
It was the wild pigs that were the problem. So.
Wild pigs? You had to worry about wild pigs?
Yes.
Ha! That's awesome.
There were guinea hens too.
What the hell's a guinea hen?
It's like a goose, only a lot louder and more obnoxious.
Okay. And geese are pretty loud and obnoxious.
Yes,
That's really saying something.
So, where was I? So I literally had to pause and go dry heave in the corner when I saw this, because I have never been to film school, guys, but even I know that long shot of Buffy and Xander in the hallway, it was claustrophobic, the angle was wrong, the lighting was wrong, and it's just they're moving so fucking slowly because it's such a small set between those two fucking pipes, and they're having this conversation. Long shots are high risk, high reward. Cuarón does them. You, whatever white bread motherfucker who filmed this, should not be doing it. And he cuts in the middle of it for her to hand him a cross, and then cuts right back to, so whatever dramatic impact he was going for them walking incredibly slowly down this hallway of pipes is just lost. And I was like, oh my God, why? Why?
Yeah, you're taking this way too seriously. Okay, so we did skip a couple parts, and we need to go back real quick and talk about Angel.
I thought Angel, like, he showed up at the,
We haven't actually talked about him at all, except for you to say that he looks like Xander's big brother.
I was gonna talk about him when he shows up the second time.
Okay, so the thing is, he shows up the second time before they get to that part, I thought.
They went into the pipes, and then they have the standoff with meth, and then they go to the club. Am I wrong about that?
Okay, no, you're right. But Angel confronts Buffy as she's in the crypt about to break in to go and confront Meth.
Okay.
Because he's telling her, no, it's the harvest. Ooh, spooky name. And so he's also the one that gives her that cross as like a sign of, hey, I know what's going on.
Oh, okay.
And there's a point when she has her various conversations with Giles where she's like, so your friend gave me this thing. What the fuck is up with him? And Giles is like, friend? I don't have friends. It's like, what do you mean? This guy who's named Angel and is, kind of dreamy and happens to know everything that's going on in the vampire underworld. What are you talking about?
Who is this guy supposed to be? And don't answer that because I'm
not answering.
It was really heavy-handed. Even if I didn't know that there was a spin-off starring him or someone with the same name, I was just like, what are you doing here, dude? You have not. Can you slow your roll, show?
He's supposed to be mysterious. What?
But
They're setting something up.
He serves no purpose whatsoever.
Right.
Like, there's no point of that conversation. And, of course, here was another pair of shots where it shoots back and forth between Buffy and Angel, and, like, their fucking faces can't even fit in my giant-ass television. Like, their forehead and their chins are cut off, and I can see every goddamn pore on Angel's stupid fucking nose, and I'm like, oh my God, learn to shoot, people. So.
Noxious fucking cat. Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. The cat did that?
Okay. Yeah, there's this obnoxious cat gladiator on the bed, like, who will not stop trying to make love to everything on the bed, including my computer. And so he jostled it in such a way that I lost you. But back to my point, ding. That's exactly how I felt about Angel, too. It's like, what the fuck is the point of you, dude? I remember when I first saw it, it's like, oh, God, he's just the dreamy love interest, isn't he? I'm already bored. So, yeah, I didn't like him from the very beginning.
And you didn't hear my rant on the close-ups?
I did. I heard your rant on the close-ups. I have nothing to say about how TV works in this. Nothing.
Okay. I just... Okay. So then the harvest comes, and this is where I actually posted on Facebook. Here is our one sighting of a person of color who is standing outside the bar. And we don't get a shot of his face. He's wearing a white tank top. He's a bodybuilder who's not yet. We don't.
Okay.
He's a bodybuilder.
He's mostly a chest.
He's a bodybuilder who's slumming it as a bouncer of a teen nightclub in Rancho Cucamonga, as a bunch of fucking vampires roll up, already in face, with saltine at the front of it, where I feel like he could have taken them. You know?
They have vampire strength. They can take him. They're like, I don't know how many times normal human strength, but it's a lot.
Anyway, but they like, it doesn't even seem to be in a struggle, and it's like they're all going for ice cream. They just like go in. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, ID, and they're like, rawr! And they eat him first. They pull him on stage to eat him first. I kind of really like that they didn't just kill him right there in the doorway.
I kind of hate that the one black person we've seen is dead before he can even open his mouth. Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Stupid Cat thinks that my cords here are marvelous chew toys and keeps trying to attack them. And I might have to kick his little ass soon.
I think it's time to give him to your girlfriend and send her out of the room so that there's no more cat emergencies. So.
Baby, can you kick out Gladiator? Thank you. I love you. You're the best. The vampire crew rolls up with in all their glory, all full-faced, and Luke makes a really stupid speech about how, lucky they are to get to be part of this ritual that will bring about the, master in the end of days or whatnot. And his speeches are terrible, man. They are so bad.
They're really bad, and I don't even want to talk about it, but like they kill the bouncer.
Yeah.
And then they kill another blonde chick. But then they cut to an overhead shot, and there's only the bouncer's body laying there.
So they didn't. I don't think I saw them kill the blonde chick. I just saw them menacing her. Maybe they did. I don't know. But she doesn't matter, and neither does that shot. Just let it happen. Just go forward.
You promise this gets better in season 2?
It gets better. It really, really does.
Okay. There came to the one part of the show I liked when Buffy is, and the special effects cuts here are abysmal, but when she does the thing with the pool cue, that was actually kind of cute. So I could kind of see the beginnings of Joss Whedon's like personal style coming through, but it needs a lot of refinement and distillation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I said, mid-season replacement, really finding their footing. I mean, they probably found out that they got to shoot this a month and a half in advance. They had they had no lead up for this. They just had to throw it together.
Right. They didn't have a pilot sitting around?
Like I said, the pilot was never aired. The pilot got scrapped.
Oh, so this is okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there's kind of I forget what Willow is up to at this point, but I actually said her name. I'm so proud of myself. But
good job.
Mayonnaise and Meth are having a little standoff because Meth wants to drink Aquafina. And then there's this whole bro-y sword crossing dicks out thing where Meth is like, you can't do it, I'm your best bud. And this is why I had like the question of free will, because it's like there's nothing left in Meth about who he was and who his friends were.
Okay, so Giles does talk about that. And
it's not, yeah, he says it's not the person you
that's not your friend.
It's not your friend, it's the person who killed your friend. So
it's the thing that killed your friend.
It's the thing that killed your friend. So is it like one giant kind of vampire soul that just sort of sits its tentacles into all the bodies it's taken?
They will go into it later. You will get the explanation of what is a vampire and why they cannot be.
Okay, I got really confused because it seems like everyone that Meth was seems to be gone, and Crumpet says, well, it's the thing that killed him. But then I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, it's the guy who bit him. But why are they apologetic when they fuck up? If they're the same person, I'm so fucking confused. So
I'm going to give you this: they are not the same person.
Okay. All right, now I'm even more confused. So.
Yep. Moving right along.
But then there's another Joss Whedon thing where somebody bumps into Meth and he gets stuck on just perfectly in the heart because he's also made of pudding.
Yes.
I mean, I Am Legend at least tried to write around it where, it's like a hermetic seal that once you break it, it's like, there's nothing inside. Yeah. So it just all collapses because of the chemical reaction on contact with oxygen. But
okay. But yeah, the lack of vampiric rib cages does kind of, it's mysterious and never gets explained. So you just have to go with it. Apparently that was a really good steak, and just move forward.
Okay.
So, but yeah, then that conflict is resolved as well as it can be. Because, Jesse is no longer in the picture, but Xander did learn a valuable lesson that this person who he'd known his entire life wasn't there anymore. He wasn't in there. There was no remorse. There was no nothing. There was just, he had the same memories.
There is no Dana, only Zool.
There is only Zool. It's just Zool in there. Okay, so then we go to Buffy fighting Luke. What did you think of this scene?
I honestly don't even remember it. It seems a lot more of, I don't even remember how she wins this.
Oh, she wins in the best way though, because they fight for a while and he's like, "Haha, I'm going."
Oh, that's right. She chucks something through the window and he's like, "Oh my God, light! Wait a minute, it's fake light." And she's
like, "You forgot about sunrise." She's like, "It's in 9 hours, you moron."
Right, because it's not even 9 p.m. yet. And
yeah, it's like, they haven't even hit curfew.
And everyone's running out at this point, and they've all kind of saved the day. And then they meet up the next day, and Crumpet tells them, "Yes, I'll be your what is it, Zoltar? The Power Rangers dude?"
I don't remember Power Rangers. They were just
There's
little
always some kind of adult authority figure that's kind of giving them orders and or advice.
Yeah. They need an adult, and yeah. But I really liked that at the end of that evening. You know, they're all sitting there like, "Wow, this all happened, man." It's like, yeah, it did. And one thing's for sure, nothing will ever be the same again. Flash forward to the next day. Everything's exactly the same. And they're like looking around like, why is everything the same? What the hell? Like, why is everyone just explained this all away in their heads? Cause
Cordelia's like, "Oh, there were gang members and Buffy knew them." And I'm like, I told you that this was the thing that turned me off so hard. I'm like, oh, so there's all this crazy shit that's going to happen, but the town is not going to react to it like anything's out of the ordinary.
Okay, so this is a phenomenon that is not so unusual. Okay, so you know how we all think about Florida and think that it's full of like the most degenerate rubes that have ever walked the face of the planet, because we're always reading these stories in the media. Florida man rapes alligator or whatever, right? Apparently
rapes alligator? Why did you go there?
It's just... be with me in this, okay? So it was the most fucked up thing I could think of on the fly. Anyway, so we're all used to hearing these things about Florida. Apparently, there is some law that is on the books in most states that isn't in Florida, where the news outlets have access to all of the police reports instead of just like certain ones. So all of the weird crap that happens is reportable. There isn't that level of privacy. So from that phenomenon, there's the idea that Florida is way more fucked up than any other place, when it may actually just be that we hear more about their fucked up things, and fucked up things happen everywhere. We just don't hear it because they're protected by confidentiality laws.
So there's no confidentiality laws going on in Cordelia's head, though.
Yeah, but that's one of those things, like I was saying before, we all want to be kind of comfortable.
So this is why someone can't just scream, "This is Boca de Infierno, run, get out of here, evacuate the town," because everyone, they will immediately like paper over that with, she just farted or something. Like, it's...
No, they're gonna be like, "That's silly. That's stuff like that isn't real."
But she saw it happen. They had their teeth on her mouth
But she doesn't want it to be real.
But all of them don't want it to be real?
Of course they don't. We don't want anything to be real. That's why we still have people in this country
mayonnaise
who are
and ricotta want it to be real?
Mayonnaise and... God damn it. Xander and Willow. Xander and Willow saw too much to, think that it's... And they participated. And they're just that kind of people anyway. They've always been on the edge of society because they're major nerds, so they have nothing to lose. The only thing they have to lose is their boredom.
I really, really hope there's a more compelling red pill, blue pill explanation for this. I really hope so.
Just keep watching the show.
Okay.
So, all right. So that pretty much covers it, unless there's anything that you have that you want to talk about still.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
So before we continue, because I know some of our listeners like to cancel at this point, how many episodes are we watching next week?
We're going to try one and see if we have enough content.
Okay.
And see how that goes. And after that, we might do one or two, depending on how much talk we get out of one episode. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fine. It's just, the Alias surprisingly lined up really well, as long as you stuck to that too, and the first and last one. And next season we're going to be doing... Yeah, almost everything in this season is a Monster of the Week one-off. Okay.
So, so it's going to be fine.
All right.
There will be the seeds of arcs for later, but the reason people don't like this first season, aside from its overwhelming campiness and terrible cinematography and all the things that you are going to harp on and have harped on, is because it's less of a for real overarching plot. It's mostly just okay, let's explore what this world is.
Okay, and there's a place for that, yeah.
So anyway, on to plugs.
Yeah, let's do some plugs. So if you like what you're hearing, if you like me complaining about how 90s this thing is, you can make sure that Bitches and I are well paid and can afford the hosting fees by going to patreon.com/unspoiled and becoming a patron. So it's not just Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Alias that's being covered. You can get your Harry Potter, you can get your Justified, you can get your Dark Tower, you can get your Golden Compass. It's all there. So
you can get all the Game of Thrones books covered. Those are pretty fun. I spent several months of my 2-hour-long commute every day just listening to that, and that got pretty entertaining.
Okay. So, there's our podcast queen, Natasha, has a growing empire, but empires cost fucking money, and we need yours. So go to patreon.com/unspoiled. Another way you can help is by using our Amazon affiliate link. Go to unspoiledpodcast.com/Amazon. That will redirect you to Amazon, and anything you buy from Amazon, Jeff Bezos is going to take a cut of money from his pocket and give it to Natasha. So it costs you nothing. You're going to buy your dragon skin dildos anyway. So you might as well give Natasha a sales
taste
commission.
Of that.
Well, no.
Yeah, just give her a little taste.
Yeah. And so that's how you can help us out. So, and do you have anything to plug, bitches?
I think I'm gonna let it go this time. I'm gonna. Well, no,
Say
no,
let
I'm not.
It go. I'm gonna punch you through the internet. I swear to God.
Can't hold it back anymore. Okay, so actually, I'm going to talk about Lost Con. That's right, Lost Con, boys and girls and everything in between or adjacent. Lost Con is a science fiction convention that's held at the LAX Marriott every year on Thanksgiving weekend. And if you are a giant nerd, which you obviously are if you're listening to us talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you will totally fit right in. So after you survive your dinner of not, freaking out on your family because they're your family, and we all do that, reward yourself for playing nice and come on out to Lost Con. Go to some panels, do some cosplay, make some friends, make some enemies, have a couple drinks at the parties if you're 21 or older. It's a heck of a good time. Come on out. Anything you want to plug? Money?
No. There are. If you like hearing me, and if you're a patron who pays at least $5 a month, it's $5. That's not even a whole Frappuccino, guys.
It's true.
You can hear me and Natasha covering The Walking Dead that doesn't suck, which is the Walking Dead graphic novels. And I'm really excited that we're now on Compendium 3. Like, it's been a couple of years since she did Compendiums 1 and 2, honestly, if she'd asked me to do 1 or 2, I would have said no, because I was not interested. But Compendium 3 is when shit really starts to get real, when I've described it as Game of Thrones in Zombieland. So I think I gave Girlfriend the ebooks earlier today too. So
for Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got all of the comics on my computer.
Okay. Well, now you have them. Again.
Why are you giving them to her and not me? Jeez,
because
you're supposed to be my friend.
Because I probably got them from you in the first place.
This is true. Accurate. Okay.
So, yeah, you can hear me do Walking Dead. And then, actually, this is already going to have aired. But if you like books, you can join the Unspoiled Book Club. And our book that we're going to cover for us this Saturday, September 3rd, is Cloud Atlas.
Ooh.
And after that is going to be American Gods, and after that is going to be It, which is a giant-ass book, and I am going to start reading that right the fuck now. But I am covering Cloud Atlas with Natasha this Saturday, and by the time you hear this, it's going to be on the podcast. It's already going to have happened. But at least you can download it and read it, and that'll give you some time to read that book, because it's a long-ass fucking book, isn't it, bitches?
Yes, it is. I just finished it, last month, and it did take me for freaking ever.
Who was your favorite?
And I read really fast. Who was my favorite?
Who was your favorite protagonist?
Hard to say.
I have to go with Song Mi.
She's where my head goes, definitely.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed her. Although I enjoyed the whole book. It's really an amazing novel.
I'm going to warn all of you listeners, the first part takes a lot to get through. And
it does.
Yeah,
I had to take breaks.
The very first chapter is really, really rough to get through. But seriously, get through it. It switches to something very, very funny and queer and hilarious. So.
Yes, it does. Okay, so, and after that, read American Gods, because it's my favorite book ever. And then after that, so you think it is really long, but let me tell you, it's a really quick read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think you'll like it. It is creepy as hell, though. It's creepy as hell. 'Cause, yeah, Stephen King. But, yeah, that's all I got for now. So, let's wrap this up. Do you have anything else to plug?
I don't, actually, so.
All right. Then I'm going to go have dinner. So, lovely to see you all again, and I look forward to next time, listeners. And same bat time, same bat channel.
All right. Bye, bitches.
Bye, money.
Bye.